Alright guys, here we go. We got some notes on mass consumption. As we've talked about, mass consumption is this idea that instead of making our own items or repairing old items, most people just choose to buy new items. Think about the amount of items you have in your home that were made by a complete stranger. Someone you don't know, someone whose whole life is an unknown to you. And this whole idea is based off of the concept known as consumerism, which is a theory that the increased consumptions of goods is economically desirable. Which begs the question, what exactly does economically desirable mean? Basically means that people can make a ton of money off of it. Which can be a great thing, right? Money is literally what makes our world go round. But it also means people could be chasing profits over things like quality or ethical treatment. So if we're talking about consumerism, it's worth asking, who are the consumers? Of course, we are the consumers. We're the ones coming to the global marketplace and buying things. I don't know too many adults that can go multiple days without buying a single thing. Many can't even go a single day. Another question worth asking is, what are we consuming? And it's basically everything. Clothes, video games, candy, technology, housing, cars. If you can think of it, someone's probably selling it. So actually we're about to watch a quick video that goes over Super Bowl commercials. And in your notes or in your reflection, I want you to answer this question in 3+ sentences. So you're gonna have to put some thought into this. Why does Coca-Cola buy Super Bowl commercials? What's the point of it? So many people already know that Coca-Cola exists, so why do they spend millions of dollars on Super Bowl commercials? Watch this video and answer that question in 3+ sentences.
In recent years, the Super Bowl has regularly been the highest rated event on TV in America. That's why the network that runs it can charge tremendous amounts of money for Super Bowl ads. This year's record price for a 30-second commercial, $5,600,000. Besides the fact that part of next Sunday's audience will be watching Super Bowl 54 just for the ads, what are companies getting for their money?
Why would a company like Coca-Cola, that everybody already knows, spend millions of dollars to remind you that they still exist? Why does Coca-Cola want to buy a Super Bowl ad? To answer this question, we brought in a smart person who gets paid to get inside your head. Meet Amy Avery,
Chief Intelligence Officer at Droga5, Adweek and Ad Agent's top creative agency.
Let me guess, faking your own death to get out of your Verizon contract?
You know, people around me ask all the time, because I do measurement, is 5.1 million really a reasonable amount to charge for that, and why would a brand ever do it? Yes, you're buying exposure, but that's not really what you're buying there. You're buying access into conversation, you're buying access into a memorable experience, you're triggering emotion.
Oh man. For some big purchases like a car, you might research it, give it a lot of thought, and that's where the details of an ad you saw about an APR deal might kick in.
It's 0% financing for 60 months.
But for most of the things that you buy every day, you don't really think about why you're doing it. It's that brief moment before you grab a product off the shelf that those countless ads you've seen over and over and over again take effect. Should you go with the cheaper brand you've never heard of, or the more expensive brand you saw on TV? So there was this study done, and it took two items that were exactly the same. But one had a brand on it that people knew, and the other one was the same product without the brand. People preferred the exact same item branded by 24%. Cut to 4 years later, and that brand slashed their ad budget. The same test was done, and the brand's perceived quality was cut in half.
Troy come in for a perfect meal in just 6 minutes. Buy some today!
I will!
One of the reasons for this is that not only does not advertising make your product seem less desirable, it also raises the perceived quality of your cheaper generic competitors. Your perception of the difference between product you know X and product you've never heard of Y, it shrinks. And advertising is not just meant to make you go out and buy something. Yes, that is a big part of it, but it also works to make people happier with the purchase that they already made. People in the ad world call this reinforcement. You want to know that the thing you bought is good, and seeing an ad makes you enjoy the product that you already have more. So without ads on TV to make you feel better about the purchase, you might think the item is worse.
And when people talk about how it doesn't work, And I'm like, mathematically it does. I mean, they wouldn't keep doing it. These companies are massive companies with a lot of investment behind making sure that it's working and tracking that it's not. There is 20 to 30% of your sales typically come from advertising. So yes, you're still going to have sales. Your company's not, Coca-Cola's not going out of business if they stop, but they're no longer counting on that percentage of sales. So if they have 100 sales, they're now going to have 80 sales.
Let's go back to that Coca-Cola ad. There's family, there's friends, and not a lot of Coke. The soda is kind of secondary here. What it's really doing is stirring up your emotions. It's making you feel something, family, patriotism. Coca-Cola knows that that feeling, that emotional connection, is what's going to make your hand want to reach for the red bottle.
So if we have this mass production where we're creating all these goods, that means we need to have mass consumption. And so that means people actually need to want or need the products that you make. So you might not know this, but widespread deodorant use, at least in America, is newer than Twinkies. It wasn't until 1942 when the deodorant industry increased by 600%. And so before widespread deodorant use, people just put up with each other's stank, and we got used to it for the most part. So these companies creating and selling deodorant needed to market to us. They needed to create a need. And boy, did they. He said good night, but he meant goodbye because of that, with the stank lines coming up. Don't let deodorant failure rob you of popularity. Notice which gender they're marketing to, what ideas of love or successful, happy lives they're reaching out to, some of the insecurities they might be reaching out to. And we see those echoed in this. Halitosis makes you unpopular. Halitosis is bad breath. It is unexcusable and can be instantly remedied. How? By buying whatever product they're selling. Here you see again, targeted to women. You see the more stereotypically, conventionally beautiful woman who doesn't get the guy. Instead, a less conventionally beautiful woman gets the guy because she got stanky breath. So they want to fix that stanky breath. And men also get marketed to, obviously. Right? Man size, think Axe body spray, think Old Spice. Different ways to profit off of and then reinforce the conceptions of what it means to be masculine versus what it means to be feminine. And so when you see all three of these ads, you see how these companies aren't only selling people things, but they're also shaping culture. They're shaping beliefs, they're shaping behavior. And yes, they're often responding to and a reflection of behavior, but they're perpetuating it, they're continuing it, maybe even kicking it up a notch. Again, 1942, the deodorant industry has a 600% increase in sales. That's creating some demand. You know, and you think 1942, in the middle of World War II, a lot of men were overseas. So if you're a woman, there's a significantly less amount of eligible bachelors. These women might have been more of a target to this industry then. And so that was it. Make sure you submit your notes or your summary or your reflection to Mass Consumption Notes on Schoology, and we'll see you back in class.